You are now listening to the Flaming Melon Podcast, featuring your hosts, the Watermelon Boys, Lucas Beaudois and Patrick Riley. Fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the ride. And make sure to look both ways at the stop sign because the Watermelon Boys and affiliate networks will not be held liable for any accidents caused by this pod. Thank you.
Hello and welcome back to the Flaming Melon Podcast. My name is Lucas. I'm here with Patrick. Hello, Patrick. How are you?
I'm good, Lucas. How are you doing?
I am doing very well. How has your how has your week been?
It's been great. I recently started the bakery.
Okay, great. What do you sell?
Well, okay. So the concept of this bakery is it's less on the baked goods, which are very good, very, very good. It is very good. The baked goods are good. Very good baked goods. The baked goods are good. They're very good. But the thing about this place is the bakery is ran by guess who? Guess who runs the bakery?
Chris Angel.
No. Guess again.
Chris Angel.
One more time.
Chris Angel.
Well, that was the closest one, but it's actually ran by a pack of wolves. So what people don't know is that wolves have the innate ability of baking, but nobody gives them the time of day to actually have them show their talents. So what I've done is I've started the world's first wolf bakery.
Oh.
And yeah, I mean, most people, they think that wolves are bad. They think that they think that they need to be eliminated. They think that they're mean, dirty, rude, very impolite. I guess that's another word for rude.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see where people are coming from there.
Well, they're wrong. I mean, look at the loaves that they make. It's crazy. I mean, you have oat nut, you have rye. They make a really good rye, contrary to popular opinion.
I want to guess that.
Yeah, you probably would have thought sourdough, but no, they're terrible at sourdough. It's really.
I would have for sure said sourdough. That's surprising.
But actually, all we sell is sourdough there, which is a little weird. But yeah, so I started this bakery with wolves, and it's like we're just giving the wolves a new life. Yeah, that's pretty much. I can't really speak much more on it because it is a top secret operation ran by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. In fact, we're probably gonna have to cut this out. So.
Okay, well, no problem.
So how was your week?
My week was good. You know, I was hoping it was Chris Angel running the bakery just because I'm so excited to talk about him again today, but we'll get to that later. My week was good. I did another magic show. This is perhaps the smallest close-up show I've ever done.
How many people?
In terms of the amount of people. I want you to guess. Guess how many people I was performing for in this show.
3.
It was 2 people, which I thought might be a little awkward. I've never done a hour-long show for 2 people, but there's this one member at the club that hires me for a lot of shows just because he's a big fan of magic and enjoys watching my magic. And so he's hired me for a lot of small close-up shows, but this time it was just him and one other person. So I've got a guy who's seen me a bunch of times and someone who has never seen me, and I'm going to do an hour. Well, we were going to do 30 minutes, but we extended it to an hour in the show. So that kind of gives you an idea of how it went. But I thought it was going to be a little awkward compared to the other ones that I've done, but it was actually still a lot of fun. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I bet it's definitely a different atmosphere.
It's very different. And the nice thing is I'm working on more new stuff than I ever have right now. Outside of like what we've been talking about, even there's some new books that I have that I haven't told you about that I'm learning.
Okay.
Some great material from that I know you and Peter are gonna love when I see you guys again. And so it gives me a good opportunity to kind of test some of that in a real time paid performance too. So a little less risky.
Right. It's your performance setting is casual enough for you to take some risks and try some stuff that you might not debut in front of like 100 people or
right.
Let's say 20 people if it's a intimate thing.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. And then it was good. It was a good show. I had fun. And then I've got another show tonight for 10 to 15 people, I think. So that's a little more normal size for a small close-up show. And then another show tomorrow. So it's a good week.
That's a good week.
Good week for Magic, yeah. Yeah, and the one tomorrow is for like 30-some people. So that one's a little bigger. Should be a good time.
So have you been to Marvins in the past few days?
The most recent time I've been there was for Sean Paul and Juliana Faye.
Oh, okay.
Which I talked about on the last pod, if I remember correctly.
Are there any people who are coming there that you are looking forward to seeing, or is it always kind of a surprise when you go there?
No, they have online. They're on their website. They have a list of the people coming in for each weekend. One that I'm excited for is there's a weekend where John Carney is doing the stage show.
Oh, that'll be a treat.
So, yeah, that'll be good. That's actually my mom's coming into town for my birthday, and that's the week that she's here. So,
oh, awesome!
I'll get to take her over there and watch John Carney do probably both the close-up and the stage, which will be pretty sweet.
The John Carney show,
because he's a legend.
I wonder if he's gonna I wonder what his stage stuff is like. Like, I wonder if it's more like a parlor type of thing because of the intimacy of the theater.
I would imagine that it is. One of the coolest things about going to Marvin's now is whenever John's there, which is most weekends, I'll walk in and he's just sitting by himself over in the corner. And so I'll just go over to him and talk with him for like 20 minutes before the show, which is pretty sweet. And I was asking him about his stage show, and he was telling me that he's kind of nervous and has to like knock off some rust on some of them. Not necessarily the performance of the trick itself, but just knowing the moments in each trick and knowing how it flows to get like laughs and impactful moments.
So he is primarily close up, so it's not often that he does a show like this.
Yeah, I don't know how often he does shows, like stage shows, but yeah, he does do a lot of close up. But I'm sure he's going to kill it because he's the fucking man. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Then I think Nathan Fan's coming back, and he said he's going to have some different stuff. So that'll be fun to go back and see. There's a few other guys that I forget right now, but yeah, they got some more good stuff before the season ends here. I
really like what Jeff's doing over there. I think it's a cool little club that he has.
Mm-hmm. It's really cool. Yeah.
We need more venues like that.
Yes. Yeah, small, intimate Magic theaters.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Then I guess the other Magic note is I attended another Palm Springs Magicians meeting.
Oh, okay.
And this is the second one in a row that I was late for, so that's always fun. But
and it's in the notes. It's in the
It's in the notes. They record it. No, I don't know if it is. But my show that was supposed to be a half hour, this is why I was late again, because I did the show for two people. And it was supposed to go from 5:45 to 6:15, and then they wanted to just do a full hour about 15 minutes into it. So we did a full hour. So I got there at like 7:15, a full hour, 15 minutes late, which I figured like they don't always go the full 2 hours. So I thought I might miss this whole thing, but I still went anyways, just in case. And so I went, and it was the largest crowd that I've seen there by a lot. There might have been like 12 people there.
Oh wow, that's
so
like double.
Still
right?
not large, but yeah, it's like double what there has been. So I walk in an hour, 15-minute late and see a bunch of new people. I'm like, oh,
They're like,
asshole.
oh, this guy's late. Look at this bitch.
this young dumbass.
Yeah, I bet he sucks.
So
he can't even show up to a Magic meeting on time. I bet he doesn't take this seriously.
So I grabbed a chair and sat down, and sure enough, Warren was up finishing a demonstration of a trick, and he usually, at least in the meetings I've been to, he usually goes last. And so sure enough, that was the last one. So I missed everyone's performance and what they had to share. And then I was asked if I wanted to share anything. So the theme was Valentine's magic. So either doing a trick that revolves around Valentine's Day or doing a trick that you love. And I did one of each. I did a version of any card at any number by Helder, where a match is used to you light a match and blow it out at the deck, and that's the magical moment in which the card gets transferred into that spot in the deck. And then we go and find that the card is there. And then when you open the matchbook back up, a duplicate card of a different color is found inside the matchbook from a freely selected card. It's a great routine. So I shared that with them. And then this one is kind of Valentine's themed. I did the one where you can have a spectator shuffle a deck, and we use the cards to create a random phone number. Yeah. And they call that number, and it ends up being my cell phone.
And this is something that, is that a Paul Harris thing?
That is a Paul Harris thing. It's called Cellmates by Paul Harris. And he has a very flirty way of performing it. And it's a fun way to do it on a girl that you like or someone you want to get the phone number to. I performed it in a little less flirty way, considering I was performing for older male magicians. But
I'm going to disagree with your choice in performance.
I kind of disagree with it too. I should have just done the flirty way. But I honestly, I don't perform it the flirty way majority of the time, anyways. So just because I don't know, it doesn't fit my style as well.
It's a good way to network too. I don't know if you've ever used it for that.
I have actually. Yeah, it's kind of it's a very forceful way of getting someone's phone number.
Well, I mean,
it doesn't seem forceful, but if you want someone's phone number and they are interested in magic, you will get their phone number.
That's true. Whereas, like, arguably, it's more direct to just straight up ask, but that's not a guaranteed way to get it. Whereas you're doing a guaranteed way to get it.
They can say no or give you a fake one. This one, like, there's no option. If the trick starts, if you start doing the trick, you're gonna get their phone number.
Because it proves that it's their number by the end of it, right?
Well, because they have to use their phone to call.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So.
Right. So it's a guarantee.
Yeah. So unless you put your phone number in incorrectly, you're going to get it, which I've mistakenly done.
Speaking of phone numbers, if you are a listener and you'd like to give us your phone number, please send it to us via email, or you could just
send us an email. Please just send us an email with your phone number,
and then we'll call you.
We'll give you a call. We'll give you a ring-a-ding-ding.
Maybe talk about a potential mystery box that you might be able to win up to $10,000.
Yeah,
cash.
Maybe we'll bring you on air on the Flaming Melon Pod.
Yeah, maybe we'll just derail the whole thing. Call it. Yeah, maybe we'll get on. Yeah, we'll do it. Maybe we'll just open up a phone book, start calling random people. I'm not opposed to that.
Actually, I got a phone book. I got a phone book delivered to my house the other day, which I didn't know they still did that.
I thought that they stopped, to be honest.
Yeah, I pulled in after work one day and there's a phone book sitting in my driveway.
Just in the driveway?
Wrap. Yeah, just sitting in the driveway, middle of the driveway.
Maybe it was maybe a car turned into it. Maybe it was maybe Jeff was doing something.
That's possible. There's actually a great routine with a phone book. I think I talked about this last week because we did big trick energy, but Wes Barker does a fantastic trick with a phone book on Penn and Teller's Fool Us.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really good. So there's your second reminder to check that out, and I will remind you next week too.
Please do. I will keep bringing up phone books subliminally until I watch it.
Excellent. Wes actually ended up teaching that routine on his YouTube channel, and he says the reason why is he doesn't do it anymore because phone books are pretty obsolete. So
That's fair. I
doesn't
mean,
I thought that was a good reason, and I did watch it, and it's a very fascinating trick. Very simple workings, but a beautiful stage performance.
I don't think that there's that many magicians who have revealed how they have fooled Penn and Teller on YouTube where anybody can see it.
Right. Funny enough, I think Eric Leclerc has done that too. So two of those guys.
Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know of anyone else that has, but I know those two.
I mean, there's a vast amount of magicians who have released effects that they use to fool Penn and Teller after fooling them with it as like a marketing tool, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, I think of Adam Wilbur, the trick
clone.
Bill.
Yeah,
clone.
Paul Gertner, I think, has released multiple. John Archer.
I think Paul Gertner's been on there 5 times.
He's fooled him most of the times, right?
2.
Okay. So
yeah,
you suck, Paul. That's pretty much what we're saying right there.
The guy who's fooled him the most, he's been on 4 times, is Hondro, and he's fooled him all 4 times.
I've heard of him, but I don't think I've seen any of his performances.
He is excellent. Excellent. Yeah, Penn and Teller actually do a trick in their stage show right now that was created by Hondro. And they talk about him a little bit and then do this routine.
Oh, that's cool.
Stage show. Yeah, it is cool. Actually, you know what? Not only that, but they also do a trick in their stage show right now that was created and done by a magician on Fool Us. That's also pretty cool, right? So
Fool Us is just a tool for them to
they just get their material there.
Yeah.
No, it's I think Wes Isley is the guy's name. He went on Penn and Teller Fool Us and did this fantastic routine that involves the entire audience and a coin, and he fooled Penn and Teller with it. And Penn loved it. Penn loved it so much that he asked if him and Teller could do it in the show, and they do it in their show. And I saw them do it live in their show last year, and it is phenomenal. It is such a good
You had explained this one to me in the past, but I had no idea that it was from a Fool Us performance.
Yeah, it's from Wes Isley on Fool Us.
Shout out to Wes Isley.
Yeah, that's got to be a cool feeling to go on Penn and Teller, fool them, and then have them like the trick so much they do it in their stage show. I mean, that's the ultimate.
You made it.
Compliment.
At that point, you made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're a fan of Penn and Teller, you've made it. There's no greater feeling than that.
Because they're like the last word on if something is good or not in magic.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people that's definitely true. Certainly is for me. In other non-magic related news, I'd like to report to you that I successfully made a pizza without dropping it on the floor.
Oh, that's one out of how many?
It's one out of 3. No, it's several out of a lot, but
okay. So I mean, it's not. We'll say that you're above average in the pizza drop-in category, but
yeah, just a little context for our listeners. I have dropped 2 pizzas on the floor in the span of less than a year, which I don't know. I guess it doesn't sound that crazy, but it's the circumstances around it were pretty funny. The first one was last summer on my 1-year anniversary of becoming vegan, and I made this vegan pizza just in the oven, and I pulled it out of the oven and completely dropped it just face down on the floor. Picked it up. Obviously, all the toppings and cheese were on the floor. So that sucked. And I don't remember what I made after that. And then just the other week, I was FaceTiming with Patrick, and we were working on some stage material, and I pulled a pizza out of the oven and dropped it kind of against a cabinet, and a lot of it got on the floor.
And that was the first time I had heard of the pizza dropping thing. And then you told me that was not the first time. I don't know many people who have dropped full pizza, maybe a slice. I'll give you a slice. I'm sure we've all dropped a slice on the floor. You know, it happens. But a whole pizza?
Whole pizza. Yeah, I like to take it out one-handed because I'm a badass, and I've dropped it doing that.
So, if you had a piece of advice, we'll say a pizza advice, a piece of pizza advice for pizza connoisseurs in the audience, what would it be? Like, if you could give them if you learned something that they might want to know, what would it be?
Very easy, actually. Very easy piece of advice is to use a tray to hold your pizza in the oven, because I just put them in there on the racks, and so when I bring it out, I don't pull out the whole rack. I just kind of slide the rack out and then slide the pizza onto my oven mitt. So I'm just balancing the pizza on one hand without using a tray. So it gets kind of floppy, or it can get a little floppy.
You need to cook your pizza longer.
How long you? Well, floppy is the wrong word, but it's heavy, and if I tilt it in one direction, the toppings start to slide because it's still really warm.
Yeah.
And then it feels floppy because it's getting heavy on one side, and then I drop it. So just use a pizza tray. Is the main.
For God's sake, just use a pizza tray, people. You don't want to end up like Lucas with your pizza on the floor on your 1-year vegan anniversary, and you're just thinking, what am I going to eat now?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not fun. So use a pizza tray. Keep those pizzas safe. Don't let them hit the floor. Let them hit your mouth and your stomach, and then the toilet.
Let the pizzas hit the floor. Let the pizzas hit the floor. Let the pizzas hit the...
Stop it.
Okay, I won't continue. Okay.
Yeah, so... Oh, you know what?
That's my favorite song.
I just had a brain malfunction.
Me
what
too.
Else you got going on?
Through that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I have a lot of TikTok songs stuck in my head. I've been okay. So on a real note, well, that was a real note. I do have some TikTok. I have some conspiracies around TikTok and the songs, and we're gonna save that for another week. So on a real note, I've been considering trying to write stand-up comedy again. And take it to some open mics.
That sounds fun.
But there's just not one thing that's just held me back from it is I have to travel a decent distance to be able to hit spots. Like there might be some in Kalamazoo, which is like 20 minutes away. There might be like one spot that, I mean, with COVID, everything's weird, so there's not that many open mics anyways, but there might only be like one spot in Kalamazoo that does them for comedy. There's no comedy clubs, I should say. There might be some bars that do it. So I've just kind of I've thought like, well, I don't really have solid enough material to drive like an hour to perform it. And, you know, I just didn't feel confident but I'm starting to realize that, you know, maybe I should just write some stuff and just go out of my way, travel however far I need to, and just, get on stage. And
I bet it would be really fun. Yeah.
And I'm not sure if I would want to try to incorporate magic into it or not. I think that might be too much of a safety net. Like I know it would, like I've had enough experience doing comedy and magic together. The magic kind of is a crutch for me to like, at least I have something like at least something cool is going to happen. Something interesting is going to happen. But over time I've gone heavier on the comedy, and the comedy is the most entertaining part of what I'm doing probably. or equal parts magic and comedy, I should say. So I'm considering just writing a set without it. But I'm not sure, and I don't really know where to start. But I'm just voicing that now. I think I'm gonna try to start writing again. Yeah.
Nice. I like it. Yeah, that's definitely. I would be very intimidated trying to do comedy without magic.
Because there's no safety net.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. There's nothing to fall back on that's like at least fun to watch. Like you gotta get up there and be funny.
I guess I could just have like a backup like comedy magic routine if everything just bombs, but
right. Yes. But it'd be cool to go out there with nothing.
Yeah.
Just balls to the wall.
I think I might I'll start writing and see if I guess I just don't know the direction, because the magic also gives you a little bit of a, like the plots with the magic kind of allow you to build from that, even if it's not directly related to what you're doing. So without that, I just don't know where to start, because there's so many different things you could talk about.
Yeah, I guess you just got to pick a topic that you enjoy talking about, or something that would be funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is easy. It is easier with magic because obviously there's a whole structured act surrounding the details of the comedy. So,
and there's a lot of pressure. I mean, I guess at an open mic, not so much, because everybody's just, there's the bar is low, or a lot lower.
Right.
But in terms of like a real comedy set at like a club, maybe let's say an open mic night at a comedy club. So that's a little bit, their expectations are a little bit higher because they're at a place where they're known for comedy, right? Mm-hmm. I just don't know if I want to be booed, I've never been booed before.
Yeah. I don't know. That would suck in the moment, but I think it would be also funny to look back on.
Well, ironically, it'd be funny. Not in the moment, but because I'd be booed.
You would be booed.
Yeah, I
was going to say I don't think that'll happen, but.
Well, I appreciate that. I've definitely had a lot of success trying humor on stage and just kind of ad-libbing on stage, as well as writing material as well. But it's, I don't know. I just got to have a starting point. Like I got to have an idea of, I just have to have just a starting point, and then everything will kind of go through there. I think I'd be good at doing crowd work because I kind of already do it to an extent when I perform. But just to go 100% on it would be different. But I've been suggested to do it, even from like a long time ago. Michael Finney, you know him?
I don't. I know the name sounds familiar, but I don't.
So he's more so he's a comedy magician, right?
Okay.
But he's more so on the stand-up comedy side, but also some strong magic. But he's just really good at working a crowd. Back when I was in Iowa for a convention one year, he was there and he saw my part of the youth showcase, and there was this like, later on in the night, there was this special thing where he got up on stage, like he was one of the headliners there, and he actually called me out and gave me some props for trying stand up on stage.
Nice.
And then later on, I talked to him, and he told me to just start doing open mics. I never listened to him,
but now you're gonna.
Well, I'm gonna think about it. Is when I have like a, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes that I just feel good about, then I'll definitely
yeah.
And then
nice.
And then I'll just from there I'll just as I perform more through those types of settings, I'm sure. I mean, a lot of comics they kind of write their material. They have a base of material, but some of the writing happens on stage through different moments that happen on the fly. Whether it's like an audience interaction or just something they think of, and then they just kind of put that in the back of their head and then use it again. So then it becomes a script. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's intimidating, but you know what? I'm saying it now. I'm gonna work towards that.
Well, I look forward to that. I look forward to hearing some of that material and hopefully hearing about an experience on your open mic.
Yeah, we'll stay tuned on that. I'm sure I'll run some stuff by you before I even get to that point. So we'll talk about it for sure.
Well, I have one more thing I want to mention before we get into the ad read. I just want to say how excited I am for the new Batman movie coming out, which comes out in 4 weeks.
Oh, just over a month.
Yeah. My roommate the other day, while he was shopping, sorry, I was away from my mic there. He picked up this for me, which is a Hot Wheels of the new Batmobile.
Oh, that's so cool.
He knows how excited I am for this movie coming out.
The new Batmobile does look awesome.
It does look really good. It's like a super modded Mustang. I don't know. It's crazy looking. But I'm very pumped for it. And leading up to it, on each of these Fridays, starting today, I'm going to watch an old Batman movie.
And will that get you caught up, or will you?
Well, this is a totally new Batman. It has nothing to do with anything.
Well, I guess what I mean is, will you watch everything by then, or?
No. Oh God,
there's too many.
There's so many Batman movies. Yeah, I'm just gonna watch my favorites. I'm gonna watch Joker, which obviously is not a Batman movie, but I just like it, and it's similar enough. And then I'm gonna watch the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy, which is the ones with Christian Bale. So Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises, which I think are the last good Batman movies that we've had.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just didn't watch anything after that, really.
Yeah, I watched some of them, but they're not. I don't know. They're not what I'm looking for. Some people really love them.
So Joker aside, was the last Batman movie the one versus Superman?
No, there's a couple others after that. That was a big one that came out in 2016. But yeah, Zack Snyder is a director who made a lot of them. That's when Ben Affleck was playing Batman. He made quite a few movies that had Batman. But I think the last good one was with Christian Bale when Christopher Nolan was directing, and that came out. The last one came out in 2012 that he made. So it's been 10 years since a good one. And normally I don't get super worked up over superhero movies I don't tend to enjoy them as much as other movies. I did see the new Spider-Man, which is amazing, and I know you're going to see that, and you'll enjoy it too. But I just love Batman, so hopefully this one's good. It looks really good.
Yeah, big hopes for this next upcoming Batman.
I think Robert Pattinson is gonna fucking kill it. I think he could be the best live action Batman we've seen.
He's done some really cool roles.
We'll see. Yeah, he's done a lot of cool roles, especially recently. The Lighthouse. The Lighthouse comes to mind.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've never seen Twilight. I've never seen what actually got him famous.
Yeah, I never have either. They're not great from all accords, but he is great. He's a great actor.
Needless to say, we're Team Edward on this one. We're Team Edward.
Oh, absolutely.
We're Team Robert.
We're Team Robert Pattinson. Plus, he's just a handsome guy.
Yeah, he's a good-looking man. What can I say?
Good-looking man. And that's,
What can I say?
You're not going to have an ugly Bruce Wayne.
Well, just wait. They're gonna surprise everybody soon.
All right. Should we talk about our new sponsor this week?
Let me piss.
Okay.
Cut that
Go
out,
ahead.
please.
Well,
Please cut that out.
we'll take a little break.
I have this issue where I drink so much water in the morning.
Oh, I've done that too.
You're on a diet?
I'm cutting back water. I'm not drinking water right now.
Yeah, we're gonna put a breaking news. We are putting a ban on water. Do not drink it. It is contaminated. No matter where you find it, it is not good.
Stop drinking water now. Stop it. Do not drink the water. It will kill you. It will kill you. Do not drink water.
Please stop drinking water. This has been your warning.
Okay.
Well, I guess this is a good way for the podcast to make national news. If we have any listeners who
People stop drinking water because of a podcast called The Flaming Melon.
Hey,
All right.
If a couple people die for us to gain success, I mean, is that
Is that a bad thing? Yes, but
how many people die every day? I mean,
yeah, exactly. Come on.
I'm just gonna make
they
it
could
clear.
die for us.
I'm gonna make it clear that this is not a joke. This is true. You should stop drinking water.
Yeah, no, this isn't a joke. Fucking enough with the water.
Please,
enough.
Please
It's
die.
gonna kill you.
We're just gonna ask all of our listeners to die.
Yeah. So at some point they will. So
Yep. So
So
hey,
will-
might as
so
well
will we.
might as well be today. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I need to say that I am kidding. Just for the record,
just for legal purposes.
please drink water and stay alive. That was a note from our lawyers that we need to mention.
Yeah.
As you guys know, we do have our lawyers on the phone at all times.
They are constantly monitoring what we're saying because we're idiots. So, okay. Anyways, we got a new ad read for you guys. We got a new sponsor this week because we can't retain anyone's. But here we go.
And how else do we pay for? I mean, lawyers are expensive, so we need lawyers.
And
so
we got to keep them paid. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to pay them something. Whether it's like in cheese nips, not even Cheez-Its. We can't afford that. We pay them in cheese nips.
Yeah, the off-brand. Yeah, but they like them.
I wouldn't say off-brand, but I would say cheaper contender.
Oh, I like that. That's nice. That's a good way of putting it.
We do have Lucas is right though. We do have a great sponsor today. Fantastic.
Yeah, let's talk about them.
All right.
So I'm just going to ask you a few questions.
Why?
Have you ever cosplayed as a goose?
Yes.
Do you own a goose?
Yes.
Do you know a goose?
No.
That's odd because you own one. Are you friends with a goose?
Mm.
Are you enemies with a goose?
Yes.
Are you a goose?
Yes.
Are you goose affiliated in any fashion?
You could say that.
Are you fashionable?
No.
Are you a fashionable goose?
Prefer not to respond.
Are you into geese fashion?
Oh, definitely.
Do you own a funny hat?
Yes.
Do you own a goose hat?
No.
Does your goose own a hat?
You'd have to ask them.
Oh, okay. Are you affiliated with a goose that wears a hat?
Prefer not to respond.
Have you ever sung the Turkish national anthem in the rain?
Every day.
Where are you getting all this rain?
I'm in London.
Have you ever rained down a song onto a turkey?
That's gonna.
Are you listening?
No.
Can you hear what I'm saying?
You're muted.
Yeah. It's very clear, all right? We are talking about the goose haberdashery. That's right. Goose haberdashery creates custom drip for your goose. or you if you are a goose. That's right, custom hats for geese. I'll tell you, I am sick of going into Tim Hortons and not seeing any hats that would properly outfit a goose. I am sick of going into Columbus, Ohio, and not seeing any hats that would properly outfit a goose. But I see so many geese. I see so many geese there. It makes no sense. It pisses me off, quite frankly. So we're trying to change that. Designer hats for geese, different shapes, styles, colors, smells, taste, textures, textiles. I'm talking about quality and customization. I am sick of seeing so many geese. Frankly, I think they are suspicious, and in fact, they make me uncomfortable.
Why? Why is that?
Yeah, that's honestly the golf course that I work out in New Jersey has just hundreds of geese, and they kind of sit on the sides of the fairway and just watch me hit golf balls. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Stop watching me. You're making me uncomfortable. You're making me nervous. Are you judging me? Are any of you a PGA professional? What's going on?
Does that have to do with paranoia at all? Maybe you need to watch season 4 of Diners, Drive-Ins, Dives.
I've been streaming it every day, 24 hours since we've talked about it, and I'm still paranoid as fuck. But we're going to keep going with this ad read. So let me tell you, you know what would make me really uncomfortable is, excuse me, I used the wrong word. You know what would make me comfortable? Okay. In terms of geese, because they make me uncomfortable.
Right.
If I saw a goose getting its swag on with a fresh fit, that would make me comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. I would feel comfortable. If those geese at Liberty National out in New Jersey were wearing some fucking fresh fits, I would feel so much better.
So,
and a fresh fit starts with the hat.
Oh, yeah.
What were you going to say?
Yeah, I was just curious what a fresh fit consisted of.
Yeah, it starts with a hat. And you know, it's not just going to make me feel comfortable; it's going to make the goose feel comfortable.
Oh wow, that's thoughtful. That is the most thoughtful.
But wait, here's the twist. Here's the twist.
Oh, there's a is it okay?
Here's the twist. You as a customer will get to sponsor your own goose, and your monthly payments will allow the goose to wear any hat it wants and finally stop living such a useless existence. Your sponsorship will provide a goose with purpose. So this is great. Obviously, geese cannot pay for hats themselves because they do not live within the capitalistic society that we have built as humans.
They also don't have hands, so they can't use cash.
Also, yeah, they don't have hands, but they're going to be able to put a hat on. May we all strive to live with as much purpose as Goose wearing a killer lid. If you have a heart, you will participate in this venture with us. And if you don't, go die.
You're probably already dead.
And and with our coupon code, you'll get a free postcard with a picture of the goose you sponsored, fitted with its new hat and sense of purpose.
Oh, so it's like when you sponsor like a let's say like a impoverished child. Right.
Yeah, you can sponsor that. They have like farm sanctuaries where you can symbolically adopt a rescued cow or turkey. And so it's kind of similar to that, except this has to do with fresh lids. So that's the twist there. But the price here it's only $4,500 a month. That's $4,500 a month. And you can change the life of a goose. That's only $54,000 a year. And I'll tell you, there's no price on the happiness of geese. Okay.
That's true.
No price.
Now that is a selling point right there.
So yeah, just maybe if we can get enough people to sponsor the geese, maybe they will finally shut the fuck up. All right.
You know, $54,000. Do you think $54,000 is a reasonable price? Seems a little high.
Very. No, I think it's low, if anything.
Well, and you know, a lot of people out there may not be able to afford that type of. It's like double. It's like double or triple a mortgage payment a month.
Well, here's the thing. These hats are fucking fresh and they cost a lot of money. So that's the majority of the money is going towards the hats. And then, like a third's going towards the geese just to sponsor them and get their photographs taken.
So, yeah, we do. It costs a lot of money to take these photographs.
Yeah, it's a professional photographer that we hire, and they charge a lot of money.
And you know what?
Because working with geese is difficult. So
yeah, and if you can't afford it, maybe you should stop drinking water.
Yeah, and you're wasting your money on water. Quit buying bottled water and save up for some fresh lids for geese.
Save the environment too. But okay, let me say this. It is understandable. That some people cannot afford it. We do understand that. We, as much as we tell you to go die, we do understand that. And
right.
I just want to point out that there are plenty of systems to get loans. And, take out a loan.
Well said. Yeah. If you don't have the funds currently, there are ways of getting those funds. So go find out a way to get yourself $54,000 and help some geese. Help some geese and fly.
If your credit's low and you can't get a loan, just steal it. So it's like a Robin Hood.
I'm going to tell you where to go for this.
Okay.
So the website here is habanadarotitties.xxx.
I think that's habanero.
Habanero. I thought it was haberdashery. So it's habanerotitties.xxx /geese need to shut up and know their place at gmail.com /free Charles Manson. So again, that's habanero titties. Titties is spelled TITTAYS.xxx.
Could you pronounce that word again?
Yeah, habanero titties. /geese need to shut the fuck up and know their place at gmail.com /free Charles Manson. And use this code. This is a scam. Say goodbye to your money. Just kidding. It's real. Please support the cause. So use that code and you'll get it. You'll get a free postcard after you put down your yearly dues of a mere $54,000. Yeah. And together we can stop industrial fishing. And I'm actually, this might seem a little offbeat, but I would like to conclude this ad read with a poem about industrial fishing.
Oh, I would love to hear it.
Okay, great. As you know, I, since going vegan, no longer support industrial fishing. And I would like to put a stop to industrial fishing because it is depleting our oceanic resources. It is killing wildlife that does not want to die. It's wreaking havoc. Okay. So I'm going to give you a little poem. This is a little more mainstream. This is an issue that not only vegans are upset about, but pretty much anyone. This is a poem about the Japanese fishing industry killing whales and brutally killing them and bringing them closer to extinction. So
I'm ready.
Here we go.
I'm ready.
Whales. Big, lovable balloons. Drifting through the ocean. All they want is love. The Japanese. Hardworking, brutal, mischievous. All they want is to kill the whales. The whales. Big in stature, large in the mind, cannot escape the industrial advancements of the Japanese. Will we see them past the year 2040?
Maybe.
Probably not.
No.
Stop industrial fishing.
Wow.
There you have it. So, obviously stop killing whales, but also just stop eating fish and stop drinking water. Do both of those things.
Leave the water for the fish. Come on. They need it.
Yeah.
They need it more.
They need the water. They need the water, and they also need you to not kill them. So do both of those things. Kill yourself. Just kidding. Don't do that.
Fish need water to breathe. But we don't need water to breathe. In fact, if we breathe water, we die.
Exactly. You try to go swim in the ocean for 24 hours. You'll die in like 10 minutes.
I have.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm not even alive.
Yeah. Patrick's been dead for a long time.
Yeah. I'm just what they did was they actually took a smaller man, and they kind of gutted me out, and they fit them inside of me. In fact, it's actually two small men standing on top of it. One of them's on the shoulders of the other. And then it's kind of like this animatronic thing where they just kind of pull some levers and, I talk. And, that was not supposed to be shared, but the Russians did it. I have two small Russian men inside of me. Not the first time.
No, it's not.
So stop.
No, it is not.
Stop industrial fishing and sponsor a goose.
Yeah, sponsor a goose, give them that fresh fit. They would appreciate it. So, yeah, that being said, we hope we stick with the sponsor. I think they're a great company doing great things for the animal life, the bird kingdom.
Any last words for the Japanese?
Yeah, fucking stop killing whales. You're going to cause them to go extinct. They are a beautiful animal that do not deserve to die. We do not need to eat them. You can eat other stuff. Don't eat whales. Yeah.
I'm curious about this.
Okay.
Are whales primarily used for meat there, or is it like I know there's other things, like I don't know if soap is still a thing that they use whales for.
Yeah, they do, but it's primarily food. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they eat them. Yep. Which at one point in my life I would have thought would be very interesting to try to eat a whale just as an exotic food. But now it's just like, what the fuck? Why are we eating whales? Like, this is just so unnecessary, and they're gonna go extinct because of us.
And they're arguably like one of the coolest sea
amazing.
Species.
They're amazing. I've seen one in real life. It was when I was working at Bandon Dunes in Oregon. The golf courses there are on the coast of Oregon, and hole 12 has a green that is right on the cliff next to the ocean, and then the 13th tee is right behind that green. So we had just finished hole 12, and we go up to the 13th tee. I was playing with another one of the interns, Jacob, and I saw it, and I think he turned and caught it too. But I was just looking at the ocean and saw a whale just breach out in the ocean in the distance. Just this fucking humongous creature. It was like, holy shit.
That's crazy.
It was pretty insane. Yeah. I never thought I would see one in Oregon, but I don't think it could have been anything else. Just with the size of it. But yeah, it was amazing.
So shout out to whales. Yeah.
All right. So what are we talking about this week in our entertainment review?
Oh, this is possibly the most important review we've done. Possibly the coolest thing that I've watched personally. As the shell of a man with two Russian small men inside of me. This is Chris Angel, Mind Freak, Season 1, Episode 3.
Yes, and I will tell you, I have not so similar feelings. I originally, when we were thinking about doing the entertainment review as part of the podcast, I was most excited about going through Mind Freak and just making fun of it because of how bad it is. And now it is my least favorite thing to do because I hate watching it because it's so bad. I thought it would be funny, but it's not even so bad that it's funny. It's just bad. It's just bad.
It's one of those things where we'll talk about like, hey, we should probably watch another episode of Mind Freak, but then we're both like,
fuck. Yeah.
I have a feeling the season 1 is probably the worst season in terms of
yeah.
entertainment.
I know there will be some episodes in the future that are genuinely entertaining because they're so funny. But we're not there yet. We are not there yet.
We're on episode 3 of season 1.
I have a confession to make.
You didn't watch it?
No, I did watch it. But I did not take notes. I did not take notes because I just did not want to. So I watched it yesterday, and I just watched it in my living room as I was cleaning my house. And I was pretty attentive. Like, my living room's just
you're
one
just running
open
the
space,
vacuum. Yeah, I watched it.
I watched it. I had headphones in, just listening to a pod.
Yeah, while you're vacuuming.
Yeah, it was on my TV while I was in the room. No, I did watch it, but I will probably have you give the bullet points of the episode, and then we will discuss further, just in case I remember the order incorrectly. But
yeah, that's totally
this
fine.
This episode has a Houdini theme, and he opens up with a little monologue about Houdini and how he's going to attempt an escape that was kind of made famous by Houdini with a little modification of his own.
Yeah, as everybody knows, it starts with the classic warning. You shouldn't be attempting any of this at home, because you might end up famous like Chris Angel.
And then all magicians will hate you.
Well, we don't hate him.
No, we don't hate him.
But I can't.
But we don't.
I can only
like him.
Well, I can only imagine how. Because you didn't really even watch much of it back then.
I never did.
But I can only imagine what magicians who were developed, like how we may be now, or I can only imagine, like, if we watched this back then with the knowledge that we have now, or if back then magicians who were like full-time pros watching it, I wonder what they felt about it. I can only imagine that they disliked it a lot.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, especially ones, especially one like Houdini, where he's kind of diving into a little bit of history about one of the most famous magicians of all time, probably the most famous magician of all time, actually. And the best escape artist of his day, and just an icon in the magic world. And he's, I wouldn't say he's like slandering Houdini in any way, but it's also like
he's putting himself above Houdini, clearly.
Yeah, he's trying to make himself seem as like, I am the next Houdini, which that does happen in magic. He's not the only magician to do that. I can recall other magicians, like, one of the greatest card mechanics of the early 1900s was S.W. Erdnase, and there are magicians in the modern day. I'm not even going to say a name, but there are magicians modern day that claim to be the better Erdnase.
Oh, like Daniel Madison?
Like this. Yes. Which, look, he's fucking great. He's much better than Chris Angel. Daniel Madison is a phenomenal card mechanic and card cheat. But I don't know. It's just very pretentious and very weird to try to put yourself above an absolute legend,
That's true. That is really true. And I think Daniel Madison, I think he goes for the shock value. Like he had the whole like magic is dead trending thing.
Right.
And maybe to an extent Chris Angel was, he was trying to get a rise out of people in some way. Maybe I don't know. Sometimes I wonder how self-aware he is in this.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, so Chris starts off by talking about how Houdini performed his milk can escape. The first time he did it was in 1908. And Chris says he's going to do his own version and that failure means death. And he poses the question, how long can you hold your breath? The milk can escape is pretty much you're in this can, this closed like metal can, right? With your
it's a milk container, at least what they used to use to contain large quantities of milk. It's a small can, and you are absolutely crammed inside there.
right, and
It's very uncomfortable.
So
Very dangerous escape.
Did Houdini have his hands above the can in this too, or was he fully?
I don't know. I think he would have been fully in it, but I don't know. I don't know enough about that. I've read some books on Houdini, but I can't recall.
I want to say that he was fully inside the can. Regardless, he was shackled up in multiple ways, and it was filled with water, I assume, unless he did it in milk. I don't know. Probably in water.
You never know.
I'm going to assume it was
some weird escapes. Could have been milk.
So pretty much he's submerged, so he can't breathe until he gets out of the milk can, which he's shackled in and cannot, in a way where he can. I don't know if there's locks there's probably locks in the milk can that he had to pick as well, aside from the shackles that he had.
Yeah.
So in this, pretty much, we'll go for full circle with it, but just to give you a little overview, pretty much Chris's hands are above him, like so he's in this wine barrel.
Yeah, which is a little larger than a milk can. So he's got a little more room, and he's got holes in the top of this of this wine barrel where his hands are going to extend up, and he's going to be handcuffed above the top of the barrel. So his hands can't come back inside the barrel until he uncuffs him.
Right. So his shackled hands are essentially keeping the wine barrel closed.
Yes.
And he can get out if he manages to unlock himself. But we'll get back to that later. So Lance Burton plays a large role in this episode, doesn't he?
He does, yes. The well-known stage magician Lance Burton.
Didn't he have like one of the longest runs in Vegas ever for a magician?
Yeah. Penn and Teller have it now, but I think he's still in Vegas. Lance is. Yeah,
he's still in the area or surrounding state. He's either in Nevada or like Arizona, but he still does like charity stuff. He's kind of retired, but he still performs more. He does a lot of stuff for kids and also young magicians. Right. I know he does some seminars at some conventions. I met him once in one of the years that I went to that Iowa convention that I mentioned so many times. Very nice man. But he did something questionable in this, and that was say that if Houdini was still around today, he would look like Chris and do what Chris is doing.
Yes.
That's not the only time that Chris is alluded to Houdini by other people, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Houdini would. Who knows? Maybe Houdini would look like Chris and be doing this.
And there's also claims.
Somehow doubt that.
Yeah, there's claims throughout the episode that Houdini didn't take much risk.
Yeah, that's a weird like there is a certain level of safety. For sure.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
most of Houdini's escapes, he knew he was going to be able to do pretty comfortably. But to say that he didn't take many risks, like there's definitely a few escapes, and I can talk about one of them that he did that had a good level of risk, far more than Chris Angel's, because Chris Angel's are pretty much all faked.
Right.
So,
and he's on a safety
you know,
line.
Yeah.
So he's hanging in this wine barrel, like 8 stories up or something. But even if he like fails, he's still attached to this safety line.
I know, it was
controlled.
ridiculous.
So
it's like, dude, the death was never an option. You getting hurt was never going to happen.
Unless the safety line breaks, like that's the level of risk he's working with.
There's instances where Houdini could have drowned or suffocated in a couple of escapes. So there's one of my favorite ones. This is in a biography that I read about Houdini. I should have looked it up before the show just to get the details right. But Houdini would claim to be able to escape from anything. And he would just put out challenges all the time, like bring him any pair of handcuffs, just bring him anything, he'll escape from it. He can escape anything. So I don't remember where this was in the world, but someone caught this very strange, like sea monster type thing, like a Loch Ness monster, not a huge, dragon or anything, but like just a very unusual sea creature. I don't know if it was some form of whale or like what the fuck.
Like a giant squid or something.
I have no idea. Yeah, it was some large creature, and they wanted to put Houdini inside of it and have him escape.
That's hilarious. Wow.
Isn't that bizarre? And they shackle him up, handcuff him up, and I don't even know how they got him inside. I can't remember. But
so he
put
did
him
this?
Inside. Yeah, he did it. They put him inside of this sea creature.
What?
And this is one he actually wasn't able to complete because, you're just inside of like this stomach of a fucking creature, and there's all these guts and stuff, and the fumes of this dead body were like too much for him, and he was like starting to suffocate inside of this beast. So they had to cut him out. But the fumes were going to kill him.
But he threw himself in he was confident enough to throw himself in a truly like dangerous situation that he had never done before.
Truly bizarre situation too. I mean, what the fuck is that about?
That's nuts.
Yeah.
I mean,
so he definitely does stuff that's has some risk. When you're challenging to escape from anything, obviously, you're not going to escape something that's going over Niagara Falls because then there's actual death involved. But this one, there's still not death, escaping from a sea monster. But it's still, obviously he could have died if he wasn't smart enough to say, hey, you got to get me out of here. These fumes are going to kill me.
Right.
So.
But for Chris to claim that, and for his team around him to claim that Chris is doing something that Houdini never did, and that was take a risk. Like,
yeah,
like they made these claims that Houdini had pretty much 100% safety, or they made it sound extremely safe, and they're making what Chris does sound extremely unsafe, even though it's
right
faker than anything that Houdini ever did.
Right.
But
yeah.
we'll circle back to that towards the end.
So what? Why don't you? What comes next? Do we get our first piece of close up here?
Well, we get the deja vu trick.
Oh God, I forgot about that one.
So pretty much, Chris walks up to these. He's walking through a hotel hallway with his team, and he, just by happenstance runs into these. I think he runs into one couple of people, and then another couple come up, and he acts like this is very on the fly when it clearly is a setup. Yes. And it's even more clear that it's a setup by the end of it. But you could already tell at the beginning that it's staged. You can tell that it's staged. So pretty much, he talks about deja vu with these people, yada yada yada. Eventually, he has one of the couples witnesses this and confirms that that it's a one shot, that everything's happening in front of them as it seems on camera. The funny thing though is when he says that, as soon as he says that it's one continuous shot, pretty much like 2 seconds later, the angle changes for a second.
Right.
It's not even,
Yes.
they eventually cut back to the same shot, but it's just funny that he says one continuous shot and then they cut to some other
And then
view.
it cuts.
Right. So one couple is the spectator or is the audience pretty much. And the other couple is asked to, I don't know if they close their eyes or something, but they're asked to think about deja vu and the last time they experienced deja vu and whatever. He then gets close to the camera, blocking the majority of what's behind him for just a second, and then he backs away, and they're standing far down the hallway, where they were back when you first saw them walking up. So they pretty much teleport back in time to when they were across the hallway.
Yeah. In an instant, they're 50 feet further back down the hallway.
Right. One continuous shot.
Yeah. One continuous shot. Chris happens to block the camera when it happens. It's so bad. Like, how could anyone believe that this is actually possible? Like, this is just such an obvious fake. It's maddening.
I want to know what the budget is, because the actors, I don't know if they're getting paid, or if they're getting paid, they're getting ripped off. No matter what the agency is paying them, Chris is getting ripped off on these actors. They're so bad. They're so,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe I don't know. It's hard to, I guess that's one of those things. It's just kind of hard to act in a situation where fake magic is happening. Like, it's hard to have it's easy to see a fake reaction, I guess. It's hard to create that and make it feel real.
Yeah. You need to be an incredibly skilled actor to make that feel real,
And most of the time in the show, it just feels so forced, and the emotions, a lot of it's the emotions that's coming behind what they're saying rather than what they say.
Yeah.
They
try to cover it up with like intense music too. Like, in contrast, when you watch David Blaine and he's doing real stuff, there's really hardly ever any music. It's just the people reacting genuinely and just showcasing their reaction, which is, you don't need anything over the top of that, because that's powerful enough, because he's doing real magic,
right?
And they're reacting honestly. Versus Chris, like, you need to kind of
compensate,
muddy up the audio a little bit just so it's not as obvious. Like, if there was no music going along with it, it would be 10 times worse. Like, it's already really bad, but imagine just the reactions with no audio behind it. Like, it would just be, oh.
You're so right. I wish we could take the music out just to.
Yeah, right? How awkward that would that be? But
so that's pretty much that one. It doesn't even deserve much more time than that.
No.
So throughout the episode, they continue to talk about the wine barrel, and we talked about it quite a bit at the beginning, so I'm just going to wait to finish it off at the end. I guess I will say that it's he does make mention that it's going to be, the wine barrel is going to be hanging 8 stories, quote, above the earth, unquote.
Yeah. Above the earth.
Yeah. So he's in space. He's going to be in space. Another mention that Houdini was more concerned about his safety than Chris. And there's like some footage of him doing a breath hold for 2 minutes in a pool.
Riveting.
It all comes back to the pool. Like, when he was practicing for the fire thing, he goes to the pool.
He's a pool guy. He loves pools.
Any excuse for him to take off his shirt, pretty much.
Yep.
Well, speaking of water, there is a water trick. Why don't you explain?
There is a water trick. So he approaches 2 ladies in a restaurant, and one of them has a glass of water, and he asks her to take a sip of the water, and he says, "What does that taste like?" And she says, "Water." And then he says, "Stop drinking water. Enough. Stop with the water." I'm just kidding. Uh, no, she says it tastes like water, and he's like, "Okay, I want you to think of your favorite drink. Think of your favorite drink." And she thinks of her favorite drink, and he reads her mind and says beer, and which is correct. And then he proceeds to take the glass of water and a coaster from the table, and he puts the coaster above the water and kind of shakes it all up. And the water turns into beer. And then the lady is able to taste the water, and it tastes like beer. And her friend tries it too, and she agrees.
This might be the best trick in the episode.
Yeah, I think so. It's a good trick. It's definitely, this is one that can be done for real. And what makes me believe that it might not be is the strange editing choices, because this is a trick that you would think you would just show one clip all the way through, but there's some very weird cuts in it that seems like multiple takes, like just unnecessary, like out of place cuts. Like you'll have I don't know, I'm not going to be able to describe it very well without watching it, but just totally unnecessary cuts. Like they'd be showing both Chris and the girl, and then like just unnecessarily cut to just the girl. Like we're watching a reality TV program instead of watching, live magic or watching a magic show, which, ultimately this is reality TV. But.
Right. You're right. It's one of those things that it based on the editing, you're led to believe that it was a setup, but this could be something that you could, but there's risk involved, like the mental side of it, like having somebody think of their favorite drink and it's beer. I don't know. I think that there's a lot of risk involved in that, and Chris is not one to, ironically, Chris is not one to take risks, even though he says that he's taking more risk than Houdini in this episode. He doesn't do that. So I'm led to believe as well that this was a setup, but still, it looks weird to us. To the average person, probably would look pretty cool. And they probably wouldn't notice the cuts.
Yeah. I agree. So what do we got next? We got the bus trick when he's on the bus, or not yet?
Well, I just want to, that is coming up, but I do want to point out that Lance Burton does say, Chris is supposed to do this wine barrel escape submerged in water, right?
Right.
But he says, so Lance asks him, are you going to practice this without the water, or with the water, I should say? Are you going to practice this with the water? And Chris says no. So he doesn't even in the episode, he doesn't even practice doing it in the water. I don't know why he's working so hard to try to make him seem like he's so cool and fearless.
Why? I mean, why the fuck would you not practice that with water? Like it just makes no sense. It's a totally different escape.
He
like
practices...
doing the milk can escape without the fucking milk is you're just escaping from a can. It's far less dangerous because you don't have the risk of fucking drowning. It's
right. So he's baffling. Like, for some reason he practices the breath hold, but he doesn't practice putting it all together.
It's dumb, and yeah, he's totally trying to do it to seem more badass, like he's not going to put it all together until the actual moment. But it's like, dude, why? Like this is stupid. It's like me saying, I'm gonna do a sympathetic cards routine on stage, which is an effect where you use a deck of cards and some wine glasses, and the cards go into the wine glasses, and I'm not going to practice with the wine glasses.
Right.
Just totally changes the trick, and it's like, why the fuck would you not use the wine glasses? That's kind of the level that this is on.
Yeah, you're
100%. No magician would do that. Like you're going to practice it the way that you're going to perform it, especially if it's life threatening, like he's saying it is.
It's good to practice things separately and get a hold of the aspects of like a routine or an escape, but you want to perform it all. You want to practice it all together. I mean, otherwise, how is it going to turn out the way you want it to if you're not prepared? Anyways, it's then also enforced again so many times in this episode, but again that Houdini didn't take much risk.
Just trying to build Chris up, trying to build him up.
Which you can tell that that's not natural for these people to talk like this either when they're talking like that. Luke Germain, very, very well-known mentalist who was a contributor on this show, they cut to him and he says Chris has a Houdini way of thinking. Don't know what that means.
I don't know either.
Oh, so then we get to the RV trick, or
Yes.
the bus trick. So his RV broke down and then he has to take the bus home. So he's in this bus with a bunch of muggles and they why don't you, it's a card trick. I'll let you explain this one.
Okay, yeah, I love card magic. So this is essentially the trick is a card through a window, which we've discussed before. David Blaine's done it. David Copperfield's done it. It's a classic in Magic, an old trick where you make a card go through a window and it appears on the other side. And the difference is he's doing it in a moving bus, which is actually quite cool. Similar to the train that David Copperfield did it in. He's going to do it on the front window of the bus. So he starts by having someone select a card. And the way that this trick starts, he actually does a little bit of sleight of hand at the beginning. And it made me think, oh, he might be doing this for real. Like, because he did a fairly difficult maneuver at the beginning, which it doesn't look like he does anything, but that's a good thing. That means it was good sleight of hand.
So far so
and
good.
Yeah, so far it's like, oh, he actually did a kind of difficult sleight. Like this is going to be a real trick. And then we get more weird cuts and it's just like, fuck, I don't know if it's going to be real or not. But essentially he goes up to the front of the bus after having someone in the second seat select a card and sign the card. He goes up to the front of the bus, takes the deck and throws it at the front window of the bus. And you can see a card sticking to the glass, and it is the signed 9 of diamonds, I think was the card. And he has the bus driver stop, and him and the spectator get out and go to the front of the bus and take it off the front of the window. And he lets her keep the card. It's a great trick. Definitely could be real, but again, just weird, unnecessary cuts. Like this one would have been so easy to just do one take because he's standing in the aisleway with the camera behind him, easily capturing the selection of the card. And the window is right behind Chris. So the camera could just pan up and watch Chris throw the cards against the window and boom, there it is on the other side. And I thought that's what it was going to be, but we got these unnecessary cuts that make me think, well, there's probably some fishy stuff going on.
Well, even if
one take.
So even if there was even if it was one continuous cut, there is one continuous shot. One thing that I noticed that, and you could be right, maybe something happened in the cut, but if you look at the one thing I noticed, so you can see the bus moving through the side windows, like where the passengers are, but through the windshield the whole time leading up to the very moment where he throws the cards, it's just all white glared out. Like you cannot see through the front windshield whatsoever. So there is a chance that it could have been there the whole time. I'm leaning towards that, and they just added an unnecessary cut for no reason because they're trying too hard.
It could be, a lot of this is probably not Chris's decision either. It's probably the people that edit the show. And this could just be a problem with Magic on television in general. And, the performer really needs creative control over a lot of this, which a lot of the time they don't have. So it could be his editors just trying to make it flow differently. But when you're going to do Magic on TV, you got to be very careful about doing cuts like that because people will suspect camera tricks or stooging and stuff like that, even if there's none.
Right.
So it's, and that's what David Blaine is so good at because he has a lot of creative control over what he's doing and the team of people that he works with. And he's very careful. The cuts that he does do are carefully crafted to where you can still know that it's not multiple takes.
Right, and definitely when you watch David Blaine, you're not thinking about the cuts. Like if there is cuts, it feels like one whole thing still.
Yeah, and most of the time it's just a continuous shot from start to finish of the trick.
Whereas with Chris,
if it is cuts for David, it's still obviously just based on people's reactions. It's still the same moment, you know.
Right. But with Chris, he makes so many claims about like one continuous shot and all this. So it forces you to think more about the editing side of it. So he kind of opens the door for you to notice these issues.
Right.
Because of all the claims that he makes.
Right. Yeah.
So,
but good trick though.
Yeah.
And I think it was probably done for real. It's a good trick.
Definitely got a little bit of a flashback to the David Copperfield episode thing where he was in the train and did the same effect.
Uh-huh.
I think that's all of the magic leading up to the final stunt, the escape. Do you remember the issue with the water?
Yeah, of course I do. Yep.
And it's funny because he specifically doesn't practice with the water, but then in the episode he encounters an issue with the water.
It's like, dude, what the fuck? Yeah, so Chris needs the water to be warm because cold water will contract the muscles and his range of motion will not be as great because he'll start to kind of freeze up, which is true. And it's, it's much harder to do a water escape with cold water. That's just a fact. But with the way that he frames himself and this effect, just building up all this danger and not practicing with the water and stuff, and he gets in there and it's cold and he just bitches out, and it's just like, it's so unlike everything else that he's done. It's like, dude, what is going on?
The water's too cold.
Yeah. He's just like, Houdini was pretty safe. Mine's going to be really dangerous. And he gets in cold water. He's like, nope.
This was after they supposedly dumped some warm water in it, but it was still too cold for him. So he refuses to do it without having more warm water in the tank.
Yes.
Which
I'm sure they kept in to make him seem more badass too. Like, oh, he's not going to do it unless it's under his conditions, like obviously they could have just cut all that out. And I'm sure in the setup of the trick, if he really wanted warm water, he probably would have gotten it. I find it hard to believe that they would just bring him cold water when he asked for warm water. I don't know. It all seems so weird.
Right. Yeah. So then we get another quote from a very well-known mentalist. This one is Banachek. One of the top mentalists in the United States, has a lot of material out there that is very utilized by other mentalists. Like he's a big creator and a performer as well. And he's also one of Chris's longtime consultants. Like I think he's a consultant for Chris throughout pretty much the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
So Banachek says Houdini was good at creating the illusion of danger, whereas Chris is actually in danger.
Yes.
So,
he's not.
It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
It is. So why don't you tell us about the rest of the escape?
So, okay. So he goes up there. He's in the barrel. He's all locked and loaded in the barrel.
Yep.
And then, I don't know, maybe like 15, 20 seconds in, he gives a signal that he agreed upon. Like if there was an emergency, he had this signal to give them. And this signal was, he gave the signal to his team to abort like 30 seconds in. So they bring him down, and The issue was something about his wrists getting caught on the line that was suspending him.
Yeah, it was restricting his movement of his wrist, which made him escaping from the handcuffs impossible.
I don't know if that's planned or not, but it could.
Yeah, given the nature of Chris, it could just be another planned incident to make it seem more real, or it could have actually happened. I have no idea.
Right. That's just the good thing about Chris here is you just can't trust him.
No, you can't.
So he finally does it. He gets out of the cuffs with like 20 seconds left, and the barrel falls to the ground, and Chris is hanging now from the line. And then it's like the line that was holding him suddenly goes loose, and he's kind of free falling through the air for a second. But then it slows down as he gets closer, and it's almost like he's like levitating down for the last maybe 15, 20 feet. Yes. And he's in his classic levitation pose.
Yes.
Which maybe there's some truth to it. Maybe that kind of shows you how he does levitations using lines, like actual.
Yeah, he's exposing his levitation. He shouldn't use that pose.
It's hilarious.
Like, that looks like the last episode.
It really,
except there's a line.
I genuinely think that that's the case, and
yeah, oh yeah.
He's attached to a line. Why does he have to do the levitation pose toward the end? Like, people know you can see the line.
I'm just baffled by how much they build up the danger of this, and then he's attached to a fucking harness with a line the whole time. It's like, dude, there was never like risk of anything. Like I thought the barrel would drop and he'd be like holding on to something because he freed his hands and he's able to just hold, and then they'd lower him down. But no, he's like attached to something.
Right.
So you were never in danger, which is fine. You shouldn't be when you're doing these illusions. It's ridiculous to put on shows where your life is actually on the line. Like, I think that is wrong. I think you shouldn't do that. And I think it's just as bad to not do that, but tell people that's what you're doing. I guess it's not just as bad, but it's also really bad to tell people that it's really dangerous.
Yeah,
in fact, it's not.
His life was on the line. He literally was on the line.
Literally, his life was safely on a line.
Yes.
That lowered him to the ground.
So then we finish off by having a couple quotes. One of them is from a bystander, and they say, this is great. They say, "All I see was he got out of the handcuffs, and then after that he was gone." I don't know if they were going to do this trick a different way or something.
What did you watch?
Do you remember, did this catch you off guard when you watched it too?
Yes, that was so funny.
All I see was he got out of the handcuffs, and then after that, he was gone.
He was...
What?
Holy shit.
He was always there. Like, you could see him the whole time. I don't know what you're talking about. It's like they had the idea. Yes. I mean, normal, to be honest. I mean, I was kind of expecting this to have an illusion ending as well, where he just disappears.
I was too, yeah.
So maybe they had that in mind initially.
Yeah. I mean, I will give him props for actually being up there in the barrel, because I thought for sure he was just not going to be in the barrel and they were going to drop it and it vanishes and he appears somewhere stupid. But he's actually up there.
And then even with the safety line, there was risk involved. Like, I mean, with the part where he kind of actually falls. I mean, he's on the line the whole time, but he falls for a little bit of it and then it tightens up. And
sure.
But yeah, all I see was he got out of the handcuffs, and then after that, he was gone.
And just like that, we are gone with this episode.
Well, there's one more thing that Lance says.
Fuck.
This is the final thing.
Yeah. Yes.
Lance mentions that he didn't even know that Chris had the safety line on.
Yeah, and Lance throughout it Chris has a 2-minute window to escape here, and Lance is giving commentary as the clock is ticking down, and it gets down to like 30 seconds, and Lance is just like, I'm getting pretty nervous. It's just like, dude, you have no fear in your voice at all. Like it's bad.
Right. What are the odds that they kept this detail from him?
0.
He had to see that he was on, like, if he was there.
I mean, it gets down to like 10 seconds and Lance is just like, uh-oh. It's just, it's just, it doesn't build it up at all. It makes it more obvious.
And then after that, he was gone.
And then he was gone. And then he vanished from our lives because I want to forget everything about this man.
I just can't, I can't get over that, I want to look at, I mean, I just keep looking into it. Like, what does that statement from that bystander show you? Is it that, I mean, they included it, which makes me think it was like a editing mistake almost. And it shows that there was an intention for him to just vanish out of the barrel, but they decided not to for some reason. Who knows though? We'll never know.
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, you're right. Just like that, we're gone with this episode.
We're gone, and we are here with trivia. Are you ready for trivia, Patrick?
This is my final.
This is your final 5 questions of the first session of trivia. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
It's time for some trivia.
All right, we're going to cue the music. So, Patrick, our trivia this week is the Chicago bonus.
Wait. It's about Chicago?
It's about Chicago. This is I have 1 Chris Angel question, and then I have 4 questions about Chicago because of the famous Chicago bonus that could end up swaying this thing either direction. So
how many give us an idea of the standings right now.
So the standings right now, you have 14 points and I have 17 points. And I have the odd number because of the Chicago bonus, which I think was in episode 6. You gave me an opportunity to win an extra point. And the answer to that question was Chicago. So the Chicago bonus. So right now you have a chance at 10 points if you get all these correct. You need to get 2. At least 2 correct to have hopes of winning.
Or you automatically, if I get 1 right, you automatically win. Like if
you get 1 or 0, I will win trivia. We'll still do the final trivia session just for total points, but I will have won if you don't get 2 or more right in this session. Okay?
That's a lot of pressure. I'm ready.
It's a lot of pressure. We're going to start with the Chris Angel question, okay? And I have a little context for this after the question. Let me pull it up. It's on my phone here. So, Chris Angel question. In 2003, which performer did Chris Angel call out for not wanting to work with him? Is it A, Max Maven, B, David Blaine, C, David Copperfield, or D, The Amazing Jonathan?
I'm going to say no to David Copperfield. I just don't think that they line up in terms of performance style. I could see it being Blaine. I know him and Amazing Jonathan have a long history of well, here's the thing. I remember from the show that there's this constant rivalry between him and Amazing Jonathan, but I don't know how produced that is. I don't see it being Max Maven. I'd be very surprised if it was. So I'm in between David Blaine and the Amazing Jonathan, but let me just lock in the Amazing Jonathan. It could be Blaine, but I'm going to lock in Jonathan.
The answer is Max Maven. No, I'm kidding. Oh. It's not. The answer is David Blaine.
Damn it.
A little context here. This was after David Blaine did his 44 days in a box in London.
Yep.
Chris Angel, excuse me. David Blaine said on a radio show shortly after that experience, they were talking about other magicians, and Chris was brought up, and he said he would like to do something side by side with Chris. And Chris, his team contacted his team, David Blaine's team, multiple times and said they wanted nothing to do with it. So Chris went and called him out. This is exactly what he said. I'm about say what you do what you say. If you don't really feel that way, then don't go shooting off your mouth. To me, it's about the principle. I don't care about the money. I would do it just to prove a point so people can see who the best magician is today and who's the most provocative.
That was Chris's quote?
That was Chris's quote after being rejected by David Blaine's team multiple times. After David said that he would like to work side by side.
Wait, so David wanted to do it, but then Chris's team couldn't get David Blaine to do it?
David said on a radio show that he would like to do that, and Chris's team got in touch with David's team, and they were just like, no.
Well, I mean, you know,
multiple times.
It would have to be on David Blaine's terms, and that would mean no camera tricks.
Yeah, so I would be surprised if David actually wanted to work with them anyways.
It would be very clear who the better performer is in that instance.
Yes.
I'm frustrated that I didn't go with David Blaine.
Well,
seemed too obvious.
I got 4 questions here. You got 4 questions about Chicago.
All right. I just lived like 2 hours away, and I've been there a couple times.
Yeah.
So maybe that's enough knowledge for me.
So here we go. We're going to start with nicknames for Chicago. We all know the Windy City and Chi-Town. What is another popular nickname for Chicago? Is it A, Second City, B, Chicago, C, the Garlic City, or D, the Blockbuster?
If it's Garlic City, I'm going to be pissed. So I'm not going to go with that. Maybe I should just start going what's going to make me mad. Because it seems like
Garlic City.
What happens. What was it? Chicago?
Chicago. It's spelled Shikaakwa. Chicago.
Okay. I just have a hard time believing you'd make that up. What's the first one again?
Second City.
And then the final one, the final answer.
The Blockbuster.
Blockbuster. Don't see it being Blockbuster. I'm going to go with Second City because maybe that means like New York is the top and then Chicago's like Second City. We'll go with that.
That is correct. It is Second City. Chicago is, I think, a French word. I forget what it's derived from, but that was the original inspiration for the name Chicago. The Garlic City is because there's a lot of garlic trees that grow around Chicago, and there's actually a lot of garlic to be found there. And the Blockbuster, I made that up. Okay, you got 2 points on the board. You are 1 point shy of me. 3 questions left.
I really need I need to make all of these questions to have a true shot of winning, pretty much.
If you make all these questions, you might win. Which of these monuments or pieces of public art will you not find in Chicago? So as we all know, in big cities, there's a lot of public art and sculptures, monuments. So I will give you 4 names of monuments, pieces of art. You have to tell me which one is not found in Chicago. I also have descriptions of each monument if you would like to know those.
I've been one of the times that I went to Chicago was in a school trip where we went to the whatever that art museum was there.
Chicago Art Museum.
Yeah. And some of the Museum of Natural History or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you want to know a little description on each of these, you can ask me, but here are the pieces of art. Calder's Flamingo DeBuffet's Monument with Standing Beast, Nuclear Energy, and Balto.
So
I assume you'll want descriptions of these. But
the question is what?
Those are it. Which of these art pieces is not found in Chicago?
So 3 out of the 4 are.
3 of these are in Chicago.
All right, give me an explanation of each, please.
Calder's Flamingo, created by American artist Alexander Calder, is a 53-foot tall stable. Not stable like a horse stable. It's spelled Stabile. I'm not sure exactly what that means. It was commissioned by the United States General Services Administration and was unveiled in 1974. Constructed in 1973. Monument with Standing Beast is a sculpture by Jean DeBuffet. It is a 29-foot white fiberglass work of art weighing 10 tons. Unveiled in 1984. Nuclear Energy is a bronze sculpture by Henry Moore at the site of the world's first nuclear reactor, created in 1942. And Balto was dedicated to the sled dogs that led several dog sled teams through a snowstorm in the winter of 1925 to deliver medicine in Nome, Alaska. And this was created by Frederick George Richard Roth.
Okay, so it's either Balto or the nuclear energy one. But I don't really associate Chicago with nuclear energy, but I know that there are plenty in the Midwest.
I can read them again if you'd like.
Read the last 2 again.
Nuclear Energy is a bronze sculpture by Henry Moore at the site of the world's first nuclear reactor. The first human-made self-sustaining nuclear chain reaction was created on December 2nd, 1942. Balto was dedicated to the sled dogs that led teams through a snowstorm in the winter of 1925 in order to deliver medicine that would stop an epidemic in Nome, Alaska. And that was created by Frederick George Richard Roth.
I feel very confident that it's one of these. I'm going to go with the nuclear energy.
It is one of those.
No.
But it is Balto.
No. I was going to say it, but then I was like...
It is Balto. Balto is found in Central Park in New York. And nuclear energy is at the site of the world's first nuclear reactor, which is in Chicago. Which I didn't know.
See, I thought that, ironically, the nuclear energy one would be in New York. That's what I told myself at the last moment.
Right. I would have thought that too. Okay. 2 more questions here. We got one that's going to revolve around pop culture, and we got one that's going to revolve around crime. Which one would you like first?
Crime.
Okay, going with the crime question. What is the murder rate in Chicago per 100,000 citizens? Okay. So there is a lot of crime in Chicago. How many citizens are murdered per 1,000 or 100,000? Sorry.
Okay.
Is it A, 12.5, B, 18.5, C, 44.5, or D, 53?
Per 100,000.
Per 100,000, on average, how many people are murdered in Chicago per 100,000 citizens?
Run the numbers.
12.5, 18.5, 44.5, 53.
18.5, locking it in.
18.5 is correct. You are going to be alive. You have surpassed me in points. It's going to come down to the last trivia session. 18.5, which is actually a higher rate than New York and LA. But there are some smaller cities with higher rates, like Detroit has 53 murders per 100,000.
Detroit's that much worse than Chicago?
Yes. Yes.
And
Chicago's
how
still pretty bad.
what do you know what these numbers were like? What time frame the numbers were based on?
I think these were 2018.
Oh, okay.
So pretty recently. All right, moving on to pop culture. Chicago is a great home for motion pictures, and a lot of movies have been filmed in Chicago. I'm going to give you the name of 4 movies, and you have to tell me which one has not been filmed in Chicago. So these are 4 famous movies in pop culture. Which one did not use Chicago for shooting? Is it A, The Matrix, B, Suicide Squad, C, Batman vs. Superman, or D, Fight Club?
So which one didn't include
Which one
filming?
did not shoot in Chicago? 3 of these movies were filmed primarily in Chicago, and one of these did not film in Chicago at all.
So we have The Matrix, we have what's the second one?
Suicide Squad, Batman vs. Superman, and Fight Club.
I'm guessing Fight Club was. I don't know, because I feel like all of these could have been filmed in New York as well. So I feel like the one that isn't probably is in New York. And the cities are almost indistinguishable to me.
They're difficult. It's rare that like, so there's some movies that I could have included where you'd know it's Chicago, like The Dark Knight, filmed in Chicago, and there's some very famous Chicago landmarks in that movie. So, and these ones are a little trickier because you don't necessarily see those famous landmarks.
I haven't
but 3 of them were in Chicago.
Are you talking The Matrix? Are you talking about the original?
Yeah, the 1999 Matrix.
And I haven't even seen it, so
okay.
I'm almost leaning towards that one because I know all the other ones. I mean, but let's be honest, they probably all have been filmed in a city. I haven't watched Fight Club either, but I'm going to assume that was filmed in Chicago. The Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad could go either way on them. I'm just going to lock in The Matrix.
The Matrix was shot in Chicago.
Wait, let me. Okay, obviously I got it wrong, but let me give me a shot.
Chicago bonus.
The Chicago bonus returns.
The Chicago bonus. I will give you 1 point if you can guess it correctly.
Wow, what a big thing this is. Wow, how grateful that I'm grateful. How grateful am I? A lot. I'm very still probably get it wrong though. I'm going to stick with Fight Club being filmed in Chicago. From the beginning, I was like, Suicide Squad might be in New York. I haven't watched the Superman versus Batman. You know what? We're gonna go Superman versus Batman.
Batman v Superman was filmed in Chicago.
So it was Suicide Squad.
It is Fight Club.
Okay, so I was, you know what? For a very brief moment, I was like, he's doing the Chicago bonus because I already said Fight Club wasn't.
Fight Club was filmed in L.A.
Really? Okay.
Yep. The other 3 were filmed in Chicago.
Well, I appreciate the Chicago bonus.
Yeah. So you're up to 18 points. I have 17 points.
You just have to get one right.
I have to get one question right in the next podcast trivia session, and I will have won the first session. But who knows? Who knows? He could blow me out.
Yeah, we'll see what the trivia is. Don't even know where to start for the theme of it, really. But we'll see what happens. Either way, I'm happy that the trivia wasn't such a big blowout where it was very
Close.
early on that we had a clear winner.
It's close. Yeah. I mean, you could have really blown that one out of there. You were close to getting 4 of the 5. That was the only one you were off on.
You know what? I'm good at
one.
I'm good at getting it in between two most of the time.
Yeah. Yes. But
yeah, again,
that's
again very very gentlemanly of you to throw the Chicago bonus in there at the end.
had to give it an opportunity. But
so next week,
that's what we got. That's what we got this week. You got anything to add? Next week I'll have 5 more questions to try to win this thing. I just got to get one.
Yeah, I really don't know where to take it with the trivia, but I hope you know a lot about nuclear physics.
Yeah, that's what I studied in school.
No, you've been living a lie this whole time as a nuclear physicist, just for this one moment to win the trivia. You're not even in golf.
I'm not a golf pro. I'm a nuclear physicist. And now I'm going to get all 5 questions right.
This sounds like a movie plot.
I'm not a golf pro. I'm a nuclear physicist.
Well, I hope everybody has a good evening, day, morning, whatever time it is when you're listening to this. Yeah, I feel like today had a meaning to it. Like I feel like today means something, but I don't remember what it was. It was some important day. Not important enough for me to remember.
That's all right.
But we hope you have a fantastic whatever day and you listen to this. Hopefully the trivia, ends with a bang. Regardless of who wins, hopefully it ends with a bang. Ideally, Lucas will just win with one question, which would be the biggest upset.
Then it would just be the Chicago bonus that clinched it.
Right?
That would be pretty funny.
That would be a hilarious way to end it. And then I don't know, maybe we'll continue with maybe we'll do a brief hiatus from trivia and replace it with something stupid for a second. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll come up with a new challenge. Maybe we do the Desert Bus, who had the loser of the next trivia session has to get a point on Desert Bus.
I do think we should do that. Yeah, regardless of when we end up doing it.
Fun.
Yeah, I would like to do that. That is a fun idea.
Yes.
And maybe add some factors within the Desert Bus that makes it even more annoying or difficult or hard to pay attention.
Oh yeah. There's actually I was actually looking more into the lore of Desert Bus, and there's some modifiers that people have put on it to where the controls will just become inverted all of a sudden. So you have to compensate for the bus's pull to the right by moving left, and all of a sudden the controls will be inverted, so you'll all of a sudden start veering like way right, and it just randomizes it.
So it's like a mod that makes it random.
Yes, it would make it just more annoying because you'd have to actually pay closer attention to the screen the whole time.
You can't just zone out.
You can't just zone out like you can, that you kind of can already.
Yeah, I think it would definitely be cool to maybe launch like a Twitch type of stream with something like that.
Yeah, it would.
But yeah, well, you'll have to tune in next week to see who the winner of trivia is, and then who knows what the loser's going to have to do. Really, I mean, nobody knows. I don't think either of us
knows. Mm-hmm.
But
I hope you like coffee beans and getting spit on.
I do. I really do. In fact, that would not be a punishment at all.
I have to change my idea then.
I hope you can live without water for 3 weeks.
I have been. I'm on a month. I've cut water out entirely.
That's right, because the warning is still in effect. You need to stop drinking water. The final message of this podcast will be stop
it. Stop drinking water.
Stop drinking water. Stop drinking water. And, sponsor a Goose.
Yeah. Give those Goose a hat. Give them a fly hat, $54,000 a year. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. Take out a loan. I mean, okay, your kids aren't going to go to college anyways. Let's be honest. It's 2022.
They're not going to college. Some of you probably don't even have kids. Listen to this. So,
and if you do,
what's your excuse?
They're going to end up homeless trying to be a YouTuber. So let's just be honest. Exactly. They're not going to college.
They're probably going to go to Japan and kill whales.
Right. They're going to end up
they don't need your money. The geese do.
They're going to end up disabled on TikTok rapping. I mean.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want that. You want to give a Goose a hat.
Nothing against disabled people, but if you're rapping on TikTok, you got to be good. That's it. You got to be good.
And nothing against TikTok, but I don't like TikTok.
It's pretty bad. It's a love-hate relationship with that. But what I'm just on a crazy side of TikTok. I mean, based on the things that you, I guess, watch more or like, you'll end up with just a certain type of feed. And I have a lot of disabled rappers, just a lot of disabled people in general, which is fine. I mean, it's great that they have a platform. They attract a lot of hate and a lot of trolls in some cases, but they have.
That's too bad.
They have I think it's really cool that this is me being genuine. I think it's really cool that people who normally would have a really hard time being in the public eye or being like famous have the chance to be famous and have a lot of positivity. But with that comes a lot of negative, and that's not very healthy for people who are already dealing with a lot. But yeah. a lot of,
well, that was a wholesome note.
Yeah. A lot of Down syndrome. What else? A lot of autism, some speech impediments, a lot of speech impediments actually. And some a lot of fetishes, a lot of weird fetishes. Obviously you can tell the stuff that I like on TikTok by this. We got a lot of, we were supposed to end this like 5 minutes ago. Here I am just saying, we got a lot of people who, the most recent thing I've been encountering is people just sending like a public invitation for others to come to like their hotel room, or house. Most recent guy was in Jacksonville, Florida, I think. Sent out a public invite, like just saying anybody who wants to come and quote unquote film some TikToks with him. Any girls who wants to come over to his place and film some TikToks.
Yep. Yeah, you sent me that one. I actually went to his house and we had a good time.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm glad. I hope we get the vlog. I hope the vlog's coming out.
The vlog is coming out. It'll be on Pornhub.
It's going to be on Pornhub.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I truly nothing against disabled people. I hope that didn't come. I hope that none of that came off wrong.
If you keep saying it, there might be some insincerity. Again, repeating, I have nothing against disabled people.
Again, really, Down syndrome, it's great. I have it.
Okay. Now everything you've said is
no, but I'm I was being genuine about what I said about, people having a platform that normally wouldn't, and that being a good thing, but also attracting a lot of hate too. But yeah, shout out to shout out to Ireland, shout out to Germany. I bet you thought I was taking a different route.
You know what? Let's check. Let me just check real quick. Let's see how our stats are doing. I haven't looked this week, but
I think the quantities of people watching changed because it adjusted the listeners lower. It adjusted
Oh,
the
yeah?
amount of listeners we had lower, so then the quantity of the percentages increased.
Nice. So yeah, still just Germany and Ireland outside of the United States. Virginia is still holding that top spot in the United States. Four states are listening to us: Virginia, Michigan, California, Illinois. So thank you guys. Illinois, shout out. Chicago bonus.
Chicago bonus forever.
Yeah. But that's what we got.
Email us at flamingmangopod at
No, melon.
Melon. That was
I mean melon pod.
That was a little slip of mine. flamingmelonpod@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, want to complain about anything that I've said,
Or me.
or Lucas, but it's probably going to be me based on based on that. Maybe you want to give me some praise for the Chicago bonus. That could potentially change the whole game, but but Lucas gave me the opportunity too, so I can't. Given that it was after I had made it clear that I wasn't going to pick Fight Club, but that's beside the point. He's going to get frustrated that I just said that, but shout out to the disabled TikTokers out there.
Jesus Christ.
Lucas knows that I have a hard time letting go of certain topics when I find that it's funny that I'm talking about them. Even though it's not intended to be offensive, it may come off that way. So I'd like to apologize to the disabled community. I, in fact, am disabled myself. And just maybe not as much as the average person, but I am somewhat disabled. So I will take... this is me trying to justify... as far as I know, I do not have, I'm not even going to list anything in particular and further have certain organizations mad at me, but shout out to the Special Olympics. We support them. The real Olympics are going on right now. That sounded really bad. The real Olympics are going on, right? It's true. Maybe that's what I was going to mention. Maybe I was going to mention that the Olympics were starting today.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you ask me, the Olympics are very special. They're special. Very special.
Yeah, the
Olympics.
real ones.
The real ones. We also are against the Japanese teams.
What the
We are against the Japan. We're
gonna
just everybody. Yep. So we're going down the line. Yep.
We're
Japan.
gonna check mark everything by the end of the pod. We're gonna make fun of disabled people. We're gonna throw in some racism. I'm gonna tell people to kill themselves.
That was arguably the most controversial thing. So if we're gonna remember anything, just remember what Lucas said. Don't remember what I said about Japan. Yep. We do not support them in this year's Olympics. Primarily, you're going to understand where I'm going with this because of the industrial fishing. We're, I don't know how this is going to affect our upcoming sponsorship with the Special Olympics.
Probably pretty negative.
Well, maybe I'll volunteer and be a ref, and be very favorable with my reffing. Maybe everybody's going to get a gold medal. I think they already do. But maybe they don't actually. I don't know. I feel like everybody gets something. I don't know. I'd like to think that, but because it's a organization about positivity, so everybody's a winner. Unlike the actual Olympics, where there are plenty of losers. We hope that Japan is on that list. We hope that they have the worst turnout that they've ever had. We really do. This is we really hope that they score worse than any other team.
And just to alleviate all the hate that we're giving on Japan right now, I actually would love to visit Japan.
Me too.
My top places I would love to go. Like
me too.
fascinating. It looks like an awesome awesome place to visit.
Lovely culture, great food, architecture, beauty. There's the suicide forest. Plenty of
Right. Yep.
which we think that you should visit. If you go over there, visit it, pay your
Visit
respects.
Maybe bring some rope.
Yeah, maybe you'll see Logan Paul over there.
Yeah, making fun of bodies.
Yeah, or maybe he'll be hanging. Maybe he'll just be hanging out.
Good. Maybe he'll be hanging out. Maybe he'll be hanging on a tree. But,
Yeah, maybe you'll see some, maybe you'll see that.
Well, I think we're gonna wrap up. You have anything more to say before we tune out?
Well, I think that Japan really, I really hope that they do poorly during the Olympics. I hope that the Special Olympics, the next one of those, goes well. Maybe I'll be a ref. Maybe I'll cheat for the contestants. Maybe I'll be a contestant. I don't know. Shout out to everybody. Lucas and I are very non-hateful people, even though it may come off that way when we tell you to kill yourself. But we really love you all, and thank you for tuning in. And if you made it this far, really, you are a true listener,
Psychopath.
You are a true
listener. Yes.
You are a
listener.
And, if you made it this far, you probably are anti-Japanese too. So congratulations. We are in the same category there.
I'd like to clarify, I am not anti-Japanese. I'm anti-industrial fishing.
Which is a big thing in Japan. So
I'm just going to put that out there, which is Japan does a lot of.
Lucas is just saying he's against a lot of their core values and beliefs and a part of their culture. That's pretty big, and a big part of their economy too. So Lucas is pretty much saying that he hopes their economy
I am against
crashes.
it. I do. I don't care if their economy is based on the killing of innocent creatures. Then you can go fuck itself.
Lucas hopes that a good portion of people there who make a living doing this go homeless.
I'd like to clarify. I don't hope that. I hope they find another line of work that doesn't involve murder.
That's a good way to put it right there. That is a great way to put that. So shout out to Japan. We love you. We really hope to add you to our list of listeners, but I don't think that this is really a great start to that campaign. Maybe we'll do maybe we'll just end the podcast.
Okay, I think we will. That was the Flamey Melon podcast. Thank you, everyone.